Well, good evening. Welcome back to Virtual Pool 4 Online. We're here for Friday Night 9 Ball. Good evening to Miasma. And last count there was 12 in. Let's have a quick check. We've got about two minutes left. How many is it showing? It's showing that there's 4 open seats. And there's now 3 left, so we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We've got 13 in. I think that was one short of last week's, so we've had about 13, 14 in the last few weeks. We haven't had a full house. There's a new name, or somebody that's changed their name, a name St. Louis, never heard of them. According to his profile, he's from the States. We've got Spectre, Dawn, Stefan, Simank, Sergresh, Slim, Miasma, LS3, Larry, Christian, John Boo, DJ Simon and Stevo UK. So we've also got a few days left for the 8-Ball World Championships. Let's have a quick look at that. There's 26 seats still available. I think that's a field of 64. So there's whatever that is. You can do the arithmetic because I can't. So we've got all these players signed up. Probably a few of them won't show up. That's the usual. I think that starts on Monday, the 1st of November. And according to that, the event is active, so the bracket should be up. There we go. We've got Stevo versus Christian. Now the handicaps have still to go up. That's still to because it is a handicap, it's a Moneyball handicap tournament, but the names aren't up yet. Not the names, the handicap. We've got Stevo Christian, we've got Larry getting another bye again, Stefan, John Boo, DJ Simon, Spectre, Dawn. Well, that looks like the nomination for the first match. LS3 has a bye, Sergresh against Miasma, Slim against St. Louis, and Simanx has a bye as well. So the match we're going to watch first then will be DJ Simon against Spectre Dawn, and DJ Simon's getting a 7-ball. So we'll head in for that. Good evening to Stefan. And the rooms are all up. They should have lagged off. Hopefully I can get in. Well, DJ Simon's in, so they haven't lagged. Spectre Dawn still to arrive. A quick reminder to everybody, the clocks go back on Sunday morning. The clocks go back to GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, British Summer Time as well, and truly over, because we've had nothing but rain for the last 3 days, and it's finally stopped raining. Various places in the south of Scotland are flooded. A proper deluge of rain non-stop for the last 3 days. So don't forget to put your clocks back. You'll get an extra hour in bed Sunday morning. So the lag for the break, DJ Simon getting a 7-ball, and again he's well capable of using that 7-ball. Not only if he gets a chance, but more importantly if he's going to use those opportunities. And neither of them very good lags, but Spectre Dawn wins it. And he will break off. And straight away, it looks like it's dry. And Simon, no shot. More than likely a push out, I would think. Got to be careful of his smell. He's going to play a shot, but well, that is a good effort, but well, Spectre Dawn will jump that. And can he get the cue ball out of there though? He might have to hit the rail on the right side and then hit the one and to try and just get the cue ball out into the table, because if he hits this straight on, he'll just follow it in. So he's going for the rail and the ball just to try and get out into the table, and that's worked out nice. Little kiss off the 7 ball gets him in play. Of course, the other news to anybody who doesn't pay attention is that Earl Strickland has been, let's just say, chosen for the American team for the Moscone Cup that comes up next month. And I was reading a post, I can't remember where I read it, but somebody made a comment that Matchroom Sport might have something to do with it to create a bit of controversy. Bring Earl in, because only Larry would probably tell me that it goes in a point scoring system as to whether you qualify for the Moscone Cup. I presume the captains have a wild card option as well. I'm not 100% sure, but I would doubt very much whether Earl Strickland would have actually qualified for the Moscone Cup team. But the one thing it will do is it will guarantee bums on seats and a little bit of controversy, because there always is. He's the stub of real life pool. So they've got Earl the Pearl back. And DJ Simon, he had a go at that 1 ball when he should have probably paid a push out. Almost got it in. And Spectre Dawn is in well and truly in bedhead cut territory with this shot. And that's what happens when you play and miss. Players like Spectre Dawn are just going to clear up. So 1-0. Good evening to Slim. 9 ball goes in as well. It gets respotted. And the cue ball was one of them that went in. So here's a perfect opportunity for DJ Simon to get to this 7 ball. And again, there's no reason why he shouldn't. Everything is there. And these type of opportunities, you can't waste them. Yeah, I think there's, it's a bit dubious to see Earl being picked for the American team and there not to be a bit of sort of jiggery pokery going on in the background. So DJ Simon should be all square here. And we are 1 rack all. Earl threatened to break some thumbs or whatever that is. Yeah, he's bound to. I mean, the thing is, he's exactly like Stubb. He's very easy to push the buttons and get him fired up. And well, that's guaranteed full houses anyway. Now that Earl's in it. Not that it wasn't going to be a full house anyway, because I think it's pretty much sold out. So DJ Simon, I think, came up with a dry break once again. Spectre Dawn, table at his mercy. It's getting good in the 4 that's going to be the only problem here. And he's trying to do too much with the cue ball. Now Simon, let's see whether he can just... Yeah, I think he can roll this in and hit the point. And if he does, he should have a shot in the 4. Another great opportunity if he can get this 4 to get himself in front. And nothing to do, just pot the 6, stun into the rail, get the cue ball out a bit. And he'll be in the lead. So Simon's had his opportunities, missed it, and well, gave Spectre Dawn the chance in that first rack, but he's taken his second two options. His 7 ball goes in, it gets respotted. That's his extra money ball, and he's got a shot in the one. Now, a little soft draw would be the order of the day. Well, he's trying to work miracles with the cue ball, and I don't think that was a shot. I think he must have had the angle to play a little stun down for that 2 ball. Although he can still cut this, I think. But now the cue ball's running loose. And he's hung it up, but he's going to get covered, I think. Spectre Dawn is going to try and jump right into the knuckle. No, he's trying to spin it in. Well, it's ball in hand, because that hit the 6 first. And again, great opportunity. It's hard to believe that Earl Strickland was chosen as a wild card for no particular reason. That's all I'm saying about it. Well, this should need to run, and that will do it. And so Simon has got himself in a good position early on in this match. But it's even more reason where he has to knuckle down and stay focused on the job in hand and not get loose. So the 1 and the 4 have gone, looking for cover on that 2 ball. Well, he hasn't covered the 2 ball, but the 9 ball is the blocker. And Spectre Dawn has to be careful, because if he's trying to push the 2 away, yeah, he had to avoid the double kiss, obviously. And I thought he might have tried to get in behind the 7, but the problem then is that the 2 would have hit the 9 anyway. But as it is, he's double kissed the 2. And another great chance, but Simon far too heavy. And now it's awkward. There's just enough room to get that 3 in. He's hit it into the 7. And that will be his chance gone. It's as simple as that. You're only going to get one look at it. And Spectre Dawn has given him another one. Unexpected there. Big error from Spectre Dawn. Now the only work that Simon's got to do here is, well, he's ended up dead straight in the 5, so he's going to have to try and get the cue ball out into the table. He has done. He's got a perfect angle in the 6. And it's all about the pace. And he needs to avoid hooking himself behind the 9. Little nudge, and that will do. And all of a sudden it's 4-1. But self-inflicted damage there for Spectre Dawn. No reason there to be missing the 3 ball. So Spectre Dawn's got work to do. Simon's break is dry. The balls are all there, and this is a must rack for Spectre Dawn. And he's maybe just going to hold the line, is he? Just on the 2. Well, I spoke to Keith from from Northern Ireland, you guys will know who I'm talking about. Good evening or good afternoon to Rotor Monkey, or B11TME. You know who I'm talking about, and he's reinstalled Windows on his PC and he's trying to run VP4, and it only runs in desktop mode. If he chooses the default resolution the same as his PC, if he chooses any other resolution, the game just hangs and he has to kill the game. So I've asked him to do a proper clean install of EP4 again to see what happens. So we'll see. I told him to get back to me. If that doesn't work, then I don't know what the problem is. It's a weird one. He showed me a video. The game just hangs when you choose the resolution, and there's no way of getting out of the game. You just have to Control-Alt-Delete. And well, I told him to check his NVIDIA drivers were up to date, because there was a new driver released yesterday which I installed. He said that's right. He showed me a picture of it as well. It says his drivers are up to date and Windows is up to date, even though he just reinstalled it. So there's something causing an issue. So the only way to resolve it, or to eliminate problems, is to just do a proper full clean install again and see what happens. So Spectre Dawn back to within 2, breaks off in rack number 7, 2 ball goes down and no shot in the 1. So it's going to be a push out. And well, Simon will probably put him back in from there. It's going to be no problem jumping, and Spectre Dawn's going to have to jump obviously to get out of this, but he has no idea where this 1 ball's going. Now this 1 ball will pot, and he's gone for it. And where's the cue ball finishing? And Simon's going to have to, I think he can get to it. He doesn't need to jump. Just needs to get it out into the table onto that 3, and he needs to watch the weight, and he's okay, and he should be stealing this one. I've never had anybody, I've had lots of people have problems with EP4 over the years, but I've never had anybody where they're changing the resolution, and I've got him to check his native resolution. I've done all that, all the obvious things. He's 1920 by 1080, and if he chooses that resolution or any other resolution other than desktop window mode, the game crashes. So if a full clean install doesn't fix it, then I don't know what to do. So DJ Simon regains his 3 rack lead, and 6 ball in the break on the 1 and on the 2. Now this is just a bit fiddly. He has to avoid hitting the 7, and he also has to avoid hooking himself like that. The other big news is that Shooter's Pool had a major update during the week, an update they've been waiting for a long time. Lots of fixes for their game, lots of new queues. I mean, that's one thing that Shooter's Pool's got, the VP4 hasn't. It's got dozens and dozens of queues and shafts, and they're all very nice looking, and they're all very good prices. There's lots of new venues. There's about 4 or 5 new venues, that new rooms that you can choose. They cost 1,000 virtual coins to buy. They're the most expensive things to buy, I think, the rooms. But the queues are very reasonably priced compared to Virtual Pool 4. And the other news is that Cowboy is now in Shooter's Pool, which I've been testing. It works okay, but they don't have alternate Cowboy. Shooters Pool update messed your mail client. How the hell did that happen, Larry? I mean, I've not had any problems with mail. Are you saying that your Windows mail won't open? Because I've had that problem before. And there's an easy fix for it. If you can't get your Windows email to open up, what the hell's that? Is that an email client? Thunderbird? I've never heard of it. But I use the Tweaking Computers Windows Fix program, and it fixes all crap like that. Whenever I've had that problem, I just let that run, and my Windows email is fully restored. Oh, is it? I say I've never heard of Thunderbird. I just use the Windows email and set up my accounts in it. That's what was I going to ask you, Larry? I mentioned it earlier on. I can't remember. Do you know? I presume the American team for the Moscone Cup has done an points thing. Yet Earl the Pearls get in the team. Gmail won't take your password anymore. Well, I think you need to do. What do you call it? Go to Tweaking. What do you call it? Major Geeks, and download Tweaking Computers, or search for it, and let that run on your computer. Don't check any boxes. Just let it run, and that'll fix loads of issues. Mooncake signed up for the 8-Ball World Championships, which starts on Monday, and DJ Simon has scratched with a lead of 6 racks to 2, so Spectre Dawn has got it all to do. Yeah, I mean, I've had weird things happen in Windows. Like, I mean, look, one day I just went to click my shortcut in my taskbar for my email, and nothing happened. And that's happened more than once with Windows, but each time I've easily got it fixed. I can't believe that Shooter's Pool causes it though. That's very weird. Well, 5-Ball tried its best, but it's the point of no return for Spectre Dawn. And he's going to have to get the spin working here, because this is dangerous to try and draw to the 6. So he's trying to spin around the angles. The pace is good, and he needs to get out off the rail, because he has to get that cue ball back up to the left as we look. Good evening to Cobra. A little soft draggy shot to kill the pace. There's a lot of players play that shot. They're only one way of playing shots for a lot of players, but you've got to learn to play that draggy shot where you go through with a stroke, but it's as if you're trying to play a draw shot, but you're not hitting it with the pace to play draw. You're hitting it with the pace to drag and kill the pace, but still have the momentum to get the object ball, so that it kills the pace in the cue ball, so you hold position. That's the way to play it. Well, there's a result through already. Sergeresh has raced through 7-2 against Miasma. And again, as I mentioned earlier on, don't forget to put your clocks back Sunday morning. Well, if Keith had got this thing fixed, he would have probably came in the stream or whatever to tell us, so it doesn't look good. he's not appeared so far. Simon's missed the kick. Inspector Dawn is coming back, but again, of course, he can't afford to make any errors now. None whatsoever. And this needs to be a little delicate shot as well. When he gets down, he has to watch that he stays high up in this 8 ball. He doesn't want to let the cue ball run. Well, if he does, he has to make sure he gets there. Oh, that's a bit fortunate. He's got there, but in a roundabout way, that could have went pear-shaped big time. Looking good to get back to within 2. Oh, cue balls are got. Now, Spectre Dawn did this last week. He needs to change that break. He needs to go for the Larry break, because Spectre Dawn's hitting it offline, and time again that cue ball is coming on. Let's see if my little doodle works. Time and time again, the cue ball's coming off the pack and heading up that direction into that pocket, and he done it twice last week, and he's done it again tonight. So if I was Spectre Dawn, I'd get my homework done and work on that break. I mean, the safest one is bringing the cue ball back towards the kitchen with enough pace where it comes back up the table, and that's the Larry break most of the time. But since they changed the physics, I think Larry's been messing about, testing things and getting 4 and 5 balls in the break. But whatever Spectre Dawn does, he needs to work on it, because he's letting that cue ball go far too loose, and he's asking for trouble doing it. Having said that, though, I don't know what the hell happened to DJ Simon, because he was too busy messing about there and I missed what he done. But obviously he's let Spectre Dawn back in anyway, which you can't be doing. Yeah, he needs to get his line better, because the cue ball's tracking the wrong direction a lot of the time. So we'll keep an eye on that. But anybody that does 2 scratches last week and does another one this week in exactly the same pocket, they're doing something wrong. And you would hope that he'd be paying attention to that and trying to work out what he is doing wrong and putting it right. And Spectre Dawn's done that wrong, big time. And this is not anywhere near any easy shot, this. He's looking at the cut. But this is all or nothing on one shot. And this time, Spectre Dawn has played his last in this match. So DJ Simon falls over the line a little bit, and he did get the use of his handicap though mid-match, and that gives him the win, 7 racks to 4. So now let's have a quick look at this bracket. So that we'll update in a minute. We see that Stevo UK is 4-2 up against Christian. Christian getting the 6 ball. Larry's lying in wait. Stefan and John Boo, it's 4-3 to Stefan. DJ Simon's waiting in the winner of that one. LS3's just started their match with Sergresh. And One Pocket Slim is on the hill against St. Louis. Let's go in and see who this St. Louis guy is. Yeah, I've been, No Man's Sky semi-pro. I had a game that I started right when the game was launched in the free play mode, and I don't know how many bases I had, but the last base I was building, I I had a big pyramid and everything, and it wouldn't let me build any more. And I tried to do everything to put it right, but to cut a long story short, I had to clean out the game and start from scratch. So I've started a totally clean game, and I'm now starting like a noob in No Man's Sky. I'm doing the story mode at the moment. So St. Louis, as I say, is either somebody who has changed their name. I haven't looked, I've just checked that he's from the States, but I haven't looked at his profile to see how long he's been with VP4. But going by his rating, he's not played a lot by the look of it. And looking at Slim at the moment, St. Louis might not be getting many more chances in this match. You know you can play multiplayer in that as well. I'm back into I'll tell you how bad it is. I'm back into the first galaxy. I'm in the Euclid galaxy again. And it took me about 2 years to get out of that galaxy, to actually get to the centre of it and then move on to the next one. There's about, I don't know how many galaxies there is. There's about 10 or 12 or more. But because I've messed about in different planets for long times, I haven't been travelling all the time. I've not even got a freighter yet. That's how new my game is. Anyway, One Pocket Slim comfortably through to the next round. And quick check now. Oh, Christian is now 4-all with Stevo. And Christian getting a 6 ball. So that match is close. Let's go in and see how it's doing. And Christian straight away there was going for the 1-9 combo. And he's got the 1 safe. Yeah. Loads of planets. Oh, have you seen any sandworms yet? Because I've updated the sandworms in it. I was standing, was it yesterday? I had landed on a planet and I was standing next to a monolith. And the next thing I knew, the bloody sandworm was right up my arse. These things are absolutely enormous. The ground was shaking. This thing just took off out of the ground, right between my legs. Well, Steve-O under pressure. Christian getting the 6 ball, and Steve-O cannot afford to make a mistake right now. Now what he should be doing is just bringing this cue ball somewhere down the bottom half of the table on the left side if he can, without running into the 5 like that. A few of you bought it yesterday. Oh, we'll need to get into a multiplayer game. Oh, that's the other thing I meant to say to you, Semi-Pro. Have you still got Eurotruck? Because I think you might want to try the harsh Russian map. Because you've never tried any map like that in Eurotruck. You're too used to driving on normal roads. Well, Christian now takes the lead, and that's the advantage of getting your shot in that money ball. Now, where's this 6 ball going to finish? Because if Christian can have a sniff of that 1 ball, well, he can't. I thought he might have had a smack onto the 6, but he's potted it. And he might be able to see enough of this too to cut it as well. Yes, he can. Oh dear, got too much into the cue ball. And Steve-O is feeling the pressure. Now the problem for Christian is he's got, well, he didn't leave himself any angle in that 3-ball to get out onto the 4. So that's why he ended up having to try and play the combo. But of course you've got to remember that Christian's only getting the 6-ball. He's not getting 6 and out. So he wouldn't have won the racket had he potted that 8-ball there with a combo. But talking of combos, Steve-O's going to have to bury this 6-ball and not leave it hanging. Now this is the one where you play, I like to play a draggy draw shot off this 5, just to actually let it run down that far rail. See, Steve-O just let it bounce out. I would have preferred to have played the draggy draw shot to get the cue ball closer up the table and a much wider angle in this 8 than the angle he's left. So he's now having to run up and down. And now this doesn't want to be running on to the 9. I think he's perfect. That will do. One ball goes in. 3-ball chips the 9 off the bottom rail. 3-ball goes. Now again with this shot, got to get into the cue ball to try and kill the pace. Well, I know what I'd be doing. Cigarette paper, thin edge on that 3-ball and running for cover. That is what I talk about, a cigarette paper edge. That's the sort of edge you need to get a good safety. Now that is a good safety. Distance and very difficult to get this 3-ball right. But Christian's made not a bad effort at it. The 9-ball keeping the 3-ball fairly close to the rail. And that's a bit too heavy. You know, he had to get it the same thin edge that he did in his previous shot, and he got it too thick. And Christian's going to be locked up here. And Steve-O should be ready to pounce if he gets a shot on this 4, which he will do with ball in hand. So he's just going to run to the side rail and back out. He needs to come out far enough to have the nice angle to drop off the 5 onto the 6. It's not just as simple as rolling through, and that's what you don't want to do. Stick yourself to the cushion, because now he's going to probably be chipping that 6. He's still okay. And of course this is going to get rid of Christian's money ball. And now I think the angle is good enough. No, maybe just enough to hold. So up and down again. Somewhere by the right middle pocket would be the order of the day. And this looks good. This to take Steve-O UK onto the hill. Well, the balls are all moving well, but again, none of them this time have headed into a pocket. I think you can see just the right side of this 1. Now you could use the 3 as a stopper, And he's had a go at that 1-9 combo there, and he's managed to get lucky. Don't think he's left anything. Well, no prizes for guessing what should be happening here. This should be a lock-up. Well, it's not a difficult kick. And it's probably not a difficult jump either. Well, a little push through. And he'll have a cut in the two. Oh, he hasn't, he's stunned it, he hasn't pushed it. And that's a bad shot. Needed to get a bit more top in that cue ball for it to run through. And I don't know whether that's the line. That was never the line to get to that two ball. Now, to play that gap there for that two ball, you had to play that with right hand spin on the cue ball, because what it then does is it straightens the cue ball out to make the line to get to the two. The angle was never there to get to the two through that gap, and Steve-O didn't play the shot. Good evening to Cheeky Chico. And Steve-O has a chance now. With ball in hand, he's got no excuse. They're all wide open. It's about plotting your escape route. And Simanx has forfeited against One Pocket Slim. Well, you've got to make sure that you nudge the 6 out of the way. Why did you get banned on Facebook? Come on, what did you do? I don't think I've ever been banned on Facebook. The only weird thing that happened was that thing that happened last week. Well, there's a gift and a half opportunity here for Christian to take this all the way. Yeah, that weird thing that happened telling me that I was breaching copyright on one of my live streams, and I wasn't. So I sent in a dispute, and I got no message from Facebook. They just deleted the thing. Obviously it was some sort of cock-up. So, Hill, final rack decider. Yes, it did get resolved, but I say they don't give you any correspondence. I just sent a dispute, and it says dispute this copyright claim, and I said explain to me where I breached the copyright. I've looked at the video, and all I'm doing is talking. There's no music or nothing, which there wasn't. As I say, they obviously dealt with it, but they don't say it was our fault, blah blah blah. They don't give you any excuse or reason. But it's been dealt with. I've not got any other message. Well, I can believe it. I think there's only. I mean, I'm of the opinion that there's one guy sitting at a computer in Facebook's head office, and he's the moderator, and everything else is done by AI, which doesn't work very well. Well, you see, this is where political correctness has gone completely haywire. Somebody should start a website where political correctness is banned. And anybody that feels that they're going to be upset with things said, they don't go near it, then you don't have a problem. Well, there's a kick and a half by Steve-O. Yeah, but the people that go on that are all nutcases. I'm talking about sensible people. Well, Christian's going to have a pop here. The old heave-ho bang on the 4. Try and billiard the 6 in. And where's the 6 ending up? And where's the cue ball going to finish? Say something bad about Trump, you get banned. Well, Christian was 4-2 down, but you can see what mistakes by opponents and clinching with the 6 ball does with the money ball handicap. Christian has stolen it by 7 racks to 6. And he goes through to the next round. Steve-O moves over to the 1 loss side. And Larry now is going to be up against it, against Christian. Christian will be getting a big handicap. Stefan is just starting his match with DJ Simon. LS3 looks as if she's racing away with that match with Sergeresh. And One Pocket Slim is lying in wait for that one. Meanwhile, on the 1 loss side, Spectre Dawn is up against John Boo. John Boo getting the 6 ball, which is again very dangerous. And Steve-O is waiting for his opponent. Well, he's... I don't know whether Simanx is still here. Steve-O might get a bye. So nothing's going to happen on the 1 loss side now until results come through from here. So we've got Stefan and DJ Simon going ahead. Larry and Christian's getting 7 and out. And LS3 6-2 up. Well, let's see how LS3's getting on. So this is a scratch game, I never even noticed. I mean, the question is whether LS3's been playing good or whether Segresh has been playing bad. But he's the one with all the work to do. And this 5 will cut. It's got to be done with a bit of pace and control, and that is perfect if it bounces. That is a very nice shot. Controlled. Again, playing with the draw just to drag the pace off the cue ball. Well, that tried its best to get in behind the knuckle there. But LS3, if she can avoid the 8 and get back into the table, and she's managed to stun it and trying to hold it. Good enough angle. Again for another little draggy draw shot if she wants to go for it. Just to go up to the right middle pocket. But letting it run free will still get the job done. And Sergeresh is going to have to do the rest of his work. On the one loss side, LS3 comfortably through by 7 racks to 2. So now, Christian and Larry still in the first rack. Stefan 1-0 up against DJ Simon. And that's a scratch match. And LS3 about to play One Pocket Slim. And that is the match that we're going to watch next. And we'll get ourselves in there. And we're in before both the players. So we're going to lag for the break. And again, no clue who's who here. I think that might be Slim nearest me because I don't remember Slim having that light coloured cue, but then again I could be totally wrong. And that's a pretty good lag. You'll do well to beat that. And it's trying. But in fact LS3 was at the bottom. An excellent lag. So, scratch match also. LS3 breaks off and breaks dry by the look of it. One ball dead in the side rail. But loads of places to hide a cue ball. The way those balls are sitting in the left hand side. And the 2 ball, of course, not easy to get to. Slim looking for cover. And that will do. Easy escape though. Again, the problem is that if LS3 is going to play anything with this 1 ball, she should be hitting at that side to try and send it back up the table. Because if she just banks it up the table that side, it's going to be wide open. So I'd be sending it that direction if I could. Oh well, I could do that as well and combo the 1 and 9. What a shot that was! That's one way to deal with problems. I never spotted that one. So, ball in the break. What was it? 4 ball is gone. A gentle 2-8 combo. Very gentle. Now this is a little testy one as well, just to make sure you don't do any collisions. Easy enough draw. Wide open table. It should be 2-0. Now, there's just enough angle there. That was the important thing. Enough angle to pot this 7 and just bring the cue ball out into the table for the 9 back up the table. Like that. That's where you want to get the cue ball. And you can only get that cue ball there by having that angle in the 7. It sounds simple, but be amazed the amount of players that end up being dead straight on such a simple shot. So, good start for LS3. 7 ball thinking about going in. It hasn't gone. And straight away, Slim from the dry break from LS3 has the table at his mercy. We've got to stop the cue ball escaping here as well with this cut. You've got to drag it in or check it, one of the two. Well, he's going for pace just to get back across the table. The sensible shot. And he's going to have to come back the way, I think, towards himself here to try and expose that 4 ball, because he can't. He doesn't really want to be trying to go forward off this 3 ball. He's got to dig into this, I think. And with the 7 ball hanging over that top right hand corner pocket, if he doesn't finish great in the 4 ball, he might finish in such a way he can play a cut onto the 7. Well, he's gone. He's managed to avoid collisions, but he's not going to be sitting pretty in the 4, I don't think. Let's have a look. Yeah, well, it's neither here nor there, this shot. I mean, he's got a cut up the table past the 5. He's got an extremely delicate cut into the middle. There is no room for error on that shot. But he's lining up the cut up table, I think. Giving it a good look, taking his time. No, he's gone for it in the middle. Or the side, as you say in the States. And it's ended up another very good opportunity for LS3 if she can miss the 9 ball and get out into the table. Managed to do that, no problem. Well, the simple thing to do here is just to kill the cue ball and just push the 6 onto the 7. Not trying to get too good on the 6 when you don't need to. Now again, the simple things are the easiest things to play. Just a more or less dead weight roll from the 6 onto that 7 just to keep the 6 ball there. And this is where it can go wrong, because if you come down the right hand side, you're asking for trouble. You've got to stay the top side of the 9, or you've got to be really, really brave and come down the left side. And it's hit the point. Well, again, looking for the feather edge. Yeah, Simanx must have gone. Steve-O's won by forfeit on that 1 loss side. Looks as if she's lining up the reverse bank. It looks good. Collision with the 9 ball. And it's going to be a testy cut in the 9 for a 3-0 lead. I'll have a quick drink. See if I get the hiccups. Dead weight. Good start for LS3. Got slim on the rack. And a ball into the side pocket. Now, well, I think the cue ball's going to hit the point. She's dragging into this. Has she got enough room to manoeuvre the cue ball though at this angle? Yeah, it's hit the other point, but still got the cut. Now, how does that look from this angle? Well, you can put a wee bit of drag on it to you have to change the line of the cue ball. You don't want to just cut this plain. That'll do, because if you just cut it plain ball, it's just going to come running up towards the 8 and the 6. Well, this is tight, and it's got to be pure just to skim past that 9. And again, you've got to be thinking about the 6 ball though. You can't just be thinking about potting the 5. You've got to work the cue ball. And the cue ball's not exactly prime position. It's another toughie. Oh, that's a cracking shot. Well, it's looking very good here for LS3 at the moment. Slim's going to have to shake himself down and get himself in this, or this match is just going to run well away from him. And it's going to be 4-zip. Couldn't have started any better. And I think the one thing I can safely say is I don't think I've seen any errors from LS3 so far, which is another good reason why she's 4-0 up. Another ball in the break. The 8 ball has gone. Now, somebody who's really crazy and brave would go for a thin cut in this 1 ball and let the cue ball run. Oh well, LS3's getting the rub of the green there. Banks the 1 ball onto the 5, flukes the 1 into the middle, and left with the thin cut in the 2. There's the result through. And Spectre Dawn, visit to Friday night 9 ball has been shot this week. He's been done by the handicap against John Boo. John Boo wins by 4 racks to 2. Now, what was the handicap in that there? Let's have a look. Where the hell is it? What was he getting? John Boo was getting a 7 ball. Meanwhile, Slim's at the table. First time in a little while, and he's got no shot. And he's going to have to get lucky. And he's completely missed a 3. He's also potted a 5 to make it easier for LS3 with ball in hand. Now, obvious this time, down the left hand side, if you go too far you finish below the 4. If you go the right hand side you got a much narrower window to get on the 4. So this has got to be accurate. And if you get it short you're going to hook yourself behind the 9. So it's not a gimme, this run here. And it's hit the knuckle, and again, it's still a shot though. But with this one again, you can drag the pace off the cue ball, make the cut, and just stop the cue ball running too far into the table. You'd be really unlucky not to leave yourself on the 6, bearing in mind where it is. I'm having a quick look at this bracket. Yeah, just making sure that I'm not out of sync or anything. Well, it's 5-zip. Now, this is where it's damage limitation for Slim if he gets a sniff, but he hasn't had a sniff. He's going to have to try and avoid the whitewash if he can get any sort of shot. And this time the balls, only a couple of them running, the rest of them more or less died. But more importantly for LS3, she's left nothing for Slim. And that, well, that worked out right in the end because the one ball hit the 3 and pushed it back onto the cue ball. So now LS3 is locked up. And so Slim's got his opportunity. Can he deliver? The other thing to look at is that 4 ball. The 4 ball will go, but you've got to be fairly high on it to get that cut. So that's going to need a good shot to get to there on the 4. So it's not quite as simple as it might seem, because the important one is going to come up in a couple of shots. Well, anything but straight on this 3. Where's the cue ball going? And that's 2 straight. And Slim's going to have to take his medicine here, because again he can pot the 3 and he can lock the cue ball up on this 7. That would be the shot to play. I mean, you just roll the 3 through, and if you stop the cue ball here, you can just lock the cue ball in behind the 7. But he's trying for miracles with a shot that was never going to work. And that's a big sellout. And he should have listened to the tactical genius, because he should have had LS3 nailed to the 7 ball, and he's given it away. Well, Slim's not helping his cause, because it was more than obvious to me the sensible shot was, looking at the angle that you had left, you were too straight, you had to just roll through and bide your time, be patient, lock the cue ball up in the 7, and you'd be unlucky not to have another go at this rack. But all he's done is just sell it out. And LS3 is more than good enough, as we've seen, to be taking chances like this. And it's going to be 6-0 on the hill. Couple of balls in the break. And half a shot in the 1. The 2 ball and the 6 is gone. Now this could have a nice brush off the 7 here. I think she's trying to just drag off of that and avoid the 7, but I don't think she could avoid it. And that's not bad. That is not bad. It's all about getting into the gap, because she's going to come around the angles and try and get into that gap. Or if she hits it soft enough like that, make sure she's going to have it. That will do, and it's going to be a 5-9 combo for the match. Well, I think Slim's had about, what, 4 or 5 shots in this whole match. And when he did have that opportunity, he blew it big time. And I'm giving this to LS3. She cannot miss this combo. This is not difficult. It's all about just the line in the 5. And it's the bagel for One Pocket Slim. The big bagel. LS3 wins 7 racks to 0. Well, it can only go downhill for LS3, because she can't play much better than that. Took every chance she got. I don't think there was an error, and the end result is 7-0. So, Slim's got it all to do. He moves over to the one-loss side. Steve, of course, has been advanced with that match. The one-loss side with Simanx. John Boo's playing Sergaresh at the moment. It's one rack all. Miasma's waiting on somebody from the winner's side, and St. Louis exactly the same. Meanwhile, on the winner's side, we've got Larry 5 racks to 2 up against Christian. Stefan 6-3 up against DJ Simon. We'll go in and see that. Slim, that last chance you had there, Slim. Why didn't you just roll? That was it the 6 ball in, or the 5, and then just hook LS3 behind the 7, because that was the shot that was on. The commentator got it right, but Slim wasn't listening. If you'd bided your time for one more shot, you'd have probably had a rack in the board. Anyway, DJ Simon's the one with it all to do in this match. Scratch match against Stefan. And Stefan on the hill. And Stefan coming to the table. And it should be over. Well, as I said during the match, Slim, I don't think LS3 made an error. Okay, she got a fluke. But in terms of actual errors, I don't think there was any. None that I could pick out. And if you can keep it error free, there's a fair chance you're going to be winning a few racks. Well, Simon's been handed a lifeline here. And he's looking good to get back to within 2, although he's ended up dead straight. So he's just going to have to stop the cue ball and leave the cut in the 8. And Larry's through against Christian, and Simon, meanwhile, has blown his chance, but maybe got lucky. Well, that's what it is. If you can keep your game clean and not make the errors, it's the unforced errors that cause it. If you can do that, then the other guy's got to be playing pretty damn good if he's going to beat you. The most important thing is error-free means that when you get that chance from the error from the opponent, you have to be coming to the table and running out. And if you do that, you're going to be a strong contender. And if only other players would watch and listen and learn. And Stefan has done the business. Simon had his chance on that 8 ball, blew it. And Stefan through 7 racks to 3. So a fair few results have come through there. And the one loss side will now take shape, because we've got 2 players who've just lost who've gone through on the one loss side. And Larry's now lined up against Stefan. And LS3 is lying in wait to play the winner of that match. So that's the match we're going to be watching next. And Stefan getting a 7 ball against Larry. And we know that Stefan is a capable player of taking that opportunity as well. And Larry's already raring to go. So we go for the lag. And I think, again, I haven't a clue who's who here. I give up. Well, the one in the top looks as if it's got the job done. Or has it? No, it hasn't. Anyway, Larry won. So Larry breaking off, giving the 7 ball to Stefan. Now see, Larry's break there was heading in the direction in the opposite side to where Spectre Dons went, and this time Larry found a scratch in the middle pocket, so Larry needs to work on his brake. The cue ball normally, when Larry breaks it the way he's broke for 20 years, the cue ball normally comes straight back to the kitchen and then back into the table. So Larry will be changing his brake the next time he gets to break. So a bad start for Larry, but again, the more important thing, just as we were talking about LS3, Stefan's got his chance. He has to get to that 7 ball. And did he have to play a jump over the 8 there? Well, either way, his chance is gone. Yeah, I've been told that before, Rotor Monkey, and I still haven't learned. I confuse myself every time I look at the lag, because I can never remember whose cue's what. So is Larry going to win this rack on his break? Bear in mind the bad start he's had. Stefan has given him the opportunity, but Larry trying to drag the cue ball into the table for the cut in the 4. He's hung up and rattled the 3. Now that looks fairly tight, that 3 ball. Extremely tight. Well, look at this position. Dead straight in the 4, and look where the 6 ball is. So if Larry's name's at the top of the HUD and I'm looking at it from this side, he's at the bottom of the table. Is that what you're saying? Nearest us? I'll never remember that. I've been told that before and I still have never... So Larry at the top of the HUD, he's breaking at the bottom of the screen. I'll remember that for the 5 minutes after you've told me, but then it's another week before Friday night 9 ball, I'll have forgotten it again. And that's a half-decent safety from Larry. Again, this has to be cigarette paper thin on the 4 ball to keep it near the rail, and that will do. Could have done with a wee bit more running in the cue ball, and it could have been very good. And the result through, John Boo 4-1 against Sergaresh on the 1 loss side. Now that's nudged the 9, but it's not killed the 6 ball. It's still open from this side, but it just makes it more difficult to get good on it. And Stefan hasn't played the shot there. And now he's got the bank. He's going to have the 1 attempt at the bank, I think. And that will do. And he's going to have another attempt at a bank or a cut, but I think he might bank this 7. Problem again is where's the cue ball going to end up in a shot in the 8 ball? No, he's going for the cut. We've got to watch the line the cue ball takes off this 7. And he gave it every chance to go in, but the nudge in the 8, what a disaster. Well, Larry by hook or by crook is going to win this first rack on his break, but well, you would never have thought it was going to run the cue ball up and cannon the 8 and scratch off the 8. So Larry's got out of jail there. And Stefan has probably got a bruised shin at the moment where he's just kicked himself right across the shin. Or he's got a sore head where he's just cracked his head off his keyboard and he's got QWERTY written across his forehead after that shot. It's 1-0 to Larry, and Larry comes up dry. And that's a ball in hand, and Stefan's fallen apart in the last 2 shots. Colliding with the 5, trying to hit the 1. And Larry's just looking at the way these balls are lying. 3 ball's going to be the issue. Now, having said that, the 2 ball's an even bigger issue because he's got into that far too much. And he should be running for cover here. He's going to send the 2 up the table and try and hide behind the 4. I would expect him to. The only thing he doesn't want to do is pot the 2. And that's a good result. And Larry, you see what happens when you play a good safety. How many times do I tell you guys, you play the sensible safety shot, you're going to get an opportunity. Still got a problem with the 3 ball though. Good evening to Hairpig. And well, Stefan shouldn't be in the stream because you know what I'll say as I see it. And Larry's couldn't have landed any better in this 3 ball. That was not an easy position to get into. And I think, well, he's got enough to just draw off that and miss the 8, I think. Well, he's drawn into the 8 near enough. Now it's a wee bit of a square cut. And he's overdone it. You see how, if you get, look at where he ended up in the 6 anyway. Everything about that shot went entirely wrong for Larry. He's overcut the 5. He's buried himself behind the 8. And now he's given Stefan a chance. But he needs to get out of that corner. Well, that was unlucky, that scratch off the 8, I'll give you that. So Stefan gets to the 7 ball and squares the match. I think it'd be safe to say that there's not really a shot on here for Larry. He's trying to skim the 1 and finish over behind the 2. But he hasn't got the legs in it at all. He's not hit it, and Larry should be buried behind the 9 and 7 here. But Stefan hasn't got the legs into the cue ball to get it to the 9 and 7. And he's given Larry a chance. A poor safety. Well, I'm looking where the problem is here for Larry. 2 balls a gimme. 3 balls the same. But Larry's again using the spin to get around the angles, and that's 2 that he's rattled in the jaws. These balls don't want to go in tonight. And another gift of an opportunity for Stefan here. And remember, he only has to get to that 7 ball. Now Larry's just trying to pinch a wee bit too much there. Well, this is one where you pick the line and you hope, because it's not easy to pick that line from this angle. And you've got to make sure that you keep the cue ball in play for a shot in the 5, and that's going to end up a disaster. Now, can Stefan get the jump cue working? Because it's a very narrow gap that he's got to go over, and he's played it well, but I don't think he's going to get any joy here. You can only see a feather edge of the 6 and looking for cover, and the end result will do very nicely. That's a good shot. Not a difficult ball to hit. It's just a case of whether you're going to get lucky and leave it safe. And well, that's bounced a wee bit, And that just brings it into play. There's plenty of room there. Oh dear. Well, Stefan should have got down the table and a look at that 6 ball. I don't know whether he did. Now the 7 ball goes past the 9 this side. Well, this pace looks not bad. That will do nicely. It just run on. Well, I was asking Larry earlier on. I don't know how the American team. Well, Larry's done it again. Well, the errors are thick and fast from Larry tonight. But there's no way that Earl Strickland would have qualified for the American team on points position. So I don't know what the criteria is for their qualification, but he's more than just a captain's pick as a wild card. Well, everything will be fine for the American team if everything goes fine, but if it starts going pear-shaped, we know who's going to start kicking up the shit, as they say. We know how that's going to happen. Well, Stefan had one shot there in the 7 to take the lead, but Larry's already made a whole stack of errors in comparison to what we saw with LS3 earlier on. And he's going to avoid the scratch. And this has just gone awkward again. A little punchy, draggy kill shot again to stop the cue ball squirting away unless it wants to come back over right side. And again, 3rd time in a row on these little punchy shots to get that cue ball in the right spot, and they're just not going in. He's hung up the 8. And of course now Stefan has to get the 9 because his money ball's already gone. But Larry's made more errors in this match than he's made in the whole last 2 weeks in Friday Night 9 Ball. I can safely say that. And it's 2-1 to Stefan. And Larry's sitting scratching his head, wondering how many more of these balls he's going to punch into the pockets and rattle and hang up. And I think Stefan may well have got away with that one. Or has he? No, there's just an edge of that one showing. And Larry can make the cut in this. And it's just gone in. Well, now Larry has got to redeem himself here. He's got a problem to deal with. That 7 is going nowhere. Well, I suppose, again, if you take your medicine, you can somehow get the cue ball here and play the billiard onto the 8. That's not a difficult shot. But the cue ball has to be here. You have to be playing on that line to get the billiard onto the 8. And you should already be thinking about that right now. And that's what Larry's going to have to do. I mean, he can try and break them out, but you don't know how they're going to break out. And this is not easy. And that's going to catch the knuckle. And that's another rack gone. So Stepan is going to open up the gap. Now, at some point, Larry will get annoyed enough to get himself into this match. And he's 3-1 down. He went for the breakout in the 7. It ended up very awkward. He could have left it for the billiard on that 8 ball. Took the risk. Didn't get the roll. And he's now chasing the game. Well, as I always say about Larry, when he ends up, and a lot of the times Larry does this self-inflicted damage. He ends up doing stuff like he's done early on in this match, and he'll get annoyed, and at some point he's going to wake up. And that's where you've got to be ready. So you've got to keep him at arm's length. There's no use going at Larry and poking at him with a stick, because you're only going to annoy him, and you'll pay the price for it. Well, Steve-O has found his feet again on the one-loss side. He's beaten John Boo 4-0. Well, this is another testy one. Testy from the point of view of the cut, but also where the cue ball's going and where the 3 ball's sitting. I mean, the cue ball's going the wrong direction here, so again, I wouldn't even be thinking about a pot. I'd be looking at safety. I'd be running for cover. I'd bottle out at anything here. Well, he's going all out for it. Is he going to escape? Yes, he is. Well, Stepan gets a hit, but the cue ball, the 2 ball just tracks straight back across the table. Well, that was never going to be good, ending up there. And now the cue ball is going all over the shop. I mean, the cut is on for the 3 ball, and the cue ball's running up towards that 5 and 8. It looks like to me, and because he's stuck to the rail, there's nothing much he can do with the cue ball. He's going to have to hit and hope here that he gets lucky. Well, he's actually brushed the 6, and at the end of the day, he's banked to 3. He's got the cut in the 4. He's going to hit the 6, and he should be on the 5. So this is looking reasonably good here for Larry. And I think the good thing is, for his sake, I don't think there's any shots he has to punch them in and spin the cue ball, because that's what's caught him out so far tonight. It should be more or less plain and simple from here on in. Well, that was a strange one as well. I don't know why he didn't just come back into the table to get on that 7. Cue ball's tracking up to the left here. It's tracking up to the left. He's going to avoid the scratch, but it was going into that dangerous zone, and now he's ended up pretty straight, so probably just a little roll through if he can hold the line. Or is he trying to spin it around and out? And he's avoided the 9. So he's got there eventually. And another result through, and Miasma has battled out a final rack decider on the one-loss side against DJ Simon. Wins by 4 racks to 3. And Larry now back within 1. Let's see how his break goes this time. Well, that's more like the Larry break. where the cue ball goes back into the kitchen, usually with more pace to come back up the table, but he's still got the shot in the one. He's going to have to drag this in dead weight just enough, or run up the table and come back down, but he's going to have to get lucky here, and he might do. He's going to have the thin cut, cue ball around 2 rails and somewhere into the table for the 3 into that top corner by the look of it. He hasn't hit it. He has not hit it. He's dragged the pace off it, so now he's going to nail Stefan to the 5. But he's not nailed it tight enough, and Stefan's going to jump that. That's a poor one from Larry. Or does he need to jump it? Yes, he does. But he's got plenty of room to get over that 5. Oh, well, he hasn't picked any sort of line to cut that 3. I don't think he set himself up very well for that. And that's a gift of a chance blown there by Stefan. I mean, you've got to take your time and get yourself set. Christian has beaten St. Louis 4 racks to 2. Meanwhile, Larry has been gifted the opportunity to square the match up. Looks like a little stun. So we're back on par, 3 racks all. Rack number 7, Larry to break. This time the cue ball tracking up towards the top right. But he's got a ball. The 8 ball is gone. He's on the 1, and he might be a bit too straight again on this one. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's absolutely bolt straight. He's stuck to the rail. So he's going to have to work a miracle here to get this cue ball out. I mean, he could try pinching a little bit of this pocket. That's what he's going to have to do, just to try and get the cue ball running. But he's looking at the lockup. But this is absolutely impossible to miss this 1 ball from where the cue ball is. I don't know what Larry was thinking there. That's a strange shot. And again, not getting the cue ball locked up. It's gifted the opportunity for Stefan. Stefan needs to get to the 7. And this is going to be where he has to get this angle on the 5. He doesn't want to run to the side. Well, if he runs to the side rail on the left, he wants to be tight to the side rail to have an angle to come out off the 5. That's what he's going to end up doing. In fact, he's just got a slight angle, but he's content to leave it long. And now he's got to be thinking about exactly where this 7 ball's going to go. So he's up table and into the table to get a fairly straight line on it. And he should be back in the lead. Well, the errors are stacking up for Larry. I think we're now on to the second page. Meanwhile, Stefan's break's dry. Larry might have a shot in this one. Yes, he does. 4 ball over the middle pocket, 3 ball over the bottom right, 5 ball in play, 6 ball right next to it. Well, that's exactly it. I mean, Stepan, well, once again, Larry's done it again. I mean, that is another glaring miss from Larry. I mean, they're coming thick and fast tonight. Yeah, it's just strange what's going on here. But these pockets are bugged for Larry. I think he needs to reinstall VP4. Oh well, commentators curse. Stepan's at it as well. And, well, this match is error-strewn, shall we say. It is not the quality we thought we were going to get, least of all what I thought we were going to get. And Larry finds himself back at the table with another chance, albeit not quite so simple. He's going to have to thin cut the one, run up the table, back down, brush into that 9 will do nicely. And now he'll be sitting pretty on the 5. Well, I mean, this is the type of thing, if you manage to get yourself through a match like this where you've made some duff shots, you know things can only get better. They can't get much worse, the amount of errors that you've made. So if you ride your luck and you survive the match and you get into the next round, you always have to be thinking on the positive side. Well, I've had my crap match, but I'm still on the winner's side, and that might be it for the night. That's the way to look at it. Well, this is another shot where you stun the 8 ball in to hold the line over to the left of the 9 into this bottom right. But Larry's been stunning these and rattling them all night. And this time he's played it a little more gentle to give it every chance to go in. But the cue ball just fell a wee bit short. And Larry is all over the place tonight. He is all over the shop. He missed that by the country mile. And Stepan duly obliges. And it's now 5-3 to Stepan. Well, I'm beginning to wonder whether Larry's not feeling too good, because I've never seen him make as many errors. Not since the last time he made as many errors, that is. But, yeah, things are not going too well here. And now Larry's at the table. No real shot. I mean, he can try cutting the 2 across the 6 to pot the 6 into the middle, which is what he tried. I'm just going to double check the scores here. That sounded like a scratch to me. No, it did. Yes, it was. So Larry's been gifted the chance to get back to within 1. Well, I'm having my doubts as to whether he can get this job done here in this rack. Oh, unbelievable. And it's another one of those little draggy shots that I keep saying about these trackball mice, and he's filled a 6. And I think I'm putting the proper commentator's curse on him tonight, because that table was not difficult to run, and he's somehow blown that as well. Does this 6 ball comfortably go? Well, it just squeezed past the 8. And all of a sudden, Stefan's on the hill. And Larry's going to have to give himself a shakedown here. Because he's now in exactly the position that most of the time you don't want to have Larry in. Where he's now back right into a corner. Stefan scratched off the break. Larry's got ball in hand. Now surely he can get it done this time. I used to get out behind that 8, and again, yeah, there's something not right here tonight. Definitely not. Now, I would have thought if Larry wasn't feeling too good, he wouldn't have played in the tournament. But it's just the actual errors are piling up here. Well, this is a testy one for Stefan. Where's the cue ball going? I think he's okay. And Larry, well, he was only ever going to head in one direction the way he's been playing. And he's over on the one loss side. Stefan, in the end, a comfortable win, but most of this was self-inflicted damage for Larry. Stefan wins by 7 racks to 3. And, well, now we've got the hot seat match. And that's between Stefan and LS3. Meanwhile, on the one loss side, we've got Larry up against Steve-O. And we've got Miasma 2-0 up against Christian. And whoever wins that will be playing One Pocket Slim. So, well, as much as LS3 and Stefan are going to be playing the hot seat match, I think we have to go in and see how Steve-O makes out against Larry in this one. In fact, is Mark still there? Yes, he is. Because it's getting near his bedtime. Well, I wonder if Larry's going to take a tab or something. Because there has to be some sort of explanation. We've never seen Larry make as many errors that you can blame the mouse for. But he's just not been picking the line on quite a few shots tonight. So we go for the lag, and it's Mark that is, or Steve-O is on the bottom. I'm on the wrong end of the table here, haven't I? See, you've totally confused me. I don't even know what end of the table I'm at. Cue ball. Well, Larry's going from bad to worse here. Straight away the scratch and the break. Well, this is turning into a nightmare. So, Steve-O, ball in hand, and needs to get to the 8 ball. Well, I don't know whether that was a shot. All you had to do was get out into the table to leave the 3 ball down into the bottom right. And he's left himself work to do. He played a good one in the 3. And again, another little delicate one in the 4, just to run off the rail. Well, he's going for the draw, but this is not going to finish unless he gets a kiss. Oh well. Nice kiss in the 5. Dodgy cut down the rail. And he needs to watch the scratch in the right middle pocket. Or the right centre pocket. Well, if you're going to miss them like that, where you leave your opponent nothing. That's a good one from Larry. Well, that's the one good shot Larry's played tonight so far. Everything else hasn't been worth mentioning so far, but that's a good reply. Nice and thin, but I don't think Larry will be able to avoid taking the bait here because this is off the rail, so he'll be going for the cut. He's got the line, but almost scratched off the 9, but now finished perfect in the 6. Well, maybe Larry's luck's turning just in that shot. That might be the glimmer of hope that he's been waiting on. Well, all he has to do is go over to the right side, just by the middle pocket without scratching, and he'll be on the 9. Again, he's just gone that wee bit squarer on this 9. It shouldn't be a problem though. So he's on the board. Of course, remember it's only a race to 4. Well, this time Larry's got the cue ball back off the kitchen rail and back into the table, but the brake's dry. 5 ball does go into this corner pocket, and well, it goes into the centre pocket as well. Good safety from Steve-O. Larry didn't get enough spin on it, so a ball in hand opportunity for Steve-O UK. Can he get the job done? Oh, I think he's ended up too straight again. Well, he's got a slight angle. He doesn't want to get too much juice into this. The cue ball could... Well, he hasn't played a shot at all there. He hasn't played a shot. He was too straight, I think, to be playing that. And Larry's kicked it in. Now again, perfectly reasonable to just bank the 3 up the table and play a safety, but you know, Larry's not like that. If the 3 can cut, he's going for it. And again, at that angle, it was a tough cut, and he's hung the 3. So second attempt for Steve-O. But no real joy in position. It's a delicate cut into the middle, entirely blind pocket. Yeah, that was not easy at all. You just got to pick the line and hit it. Cue ball's going to be running. It's a thin cut into the middle. Larry's going for it up top, I think. Is he? No, he's going for it in the middle. A little nudge in the 6 would do nice, but not too much of a nudge to lock it up. And It is locked up. How does it look from that side? Well, it goes that way. There's no problem up table. And I think he's got a good enough angle just to drop behind it. Well, this would have been ideal if he had been straight on it. So now he can't avoid hitting the 7. He's trying to draw off it. A little brush onto the 7, that'll do. Well, it has to be said, Steve-O's had 2 chances in this rack and hasn't got it done. So the end result is inevitable. If you're going to give Larry more than 1 or 2 chances, at some point he's going to take the rack. So in it goes. What comment's that, Chico? I must have missed it. Oh, Cobra. I see it now. And the break from Larry. Well, what's that? This went the 3, the 4 and the 6. And no shot in the 1. Now, what's he looking at here? Is he looking at the 1-9? Well, I think he was trying to use the rail and hit the 5 to drop the 1 into the corner. It might have been what he was trying there. Well, now the odds on this cue ball staying in the table if you try to jump that 1, the 9 to the 1, are very slim. So Larry's going for the kick. And that thin edge of the 1 has just bounced it off the 5 and locked it over the pocket. So Steve-O has his first opportunity in this rack, but again the problem here is finding a way for the 2. That'll do it. A nice little kiss off the 9. Now he's got to deliver. If you get that lucky break, the little kiss in the 9, it gets you plumb on the 2. Then you've got to not do this and lock yourself behind the 7 when you're trying to get on the 5. That's a poor shot there. There's wide open spaces to have a sight on that 5, and he should never have finished there. Needs a slap around the head for that shot. And the 5 is going to be sitting nicely for Larry. I think Larry's got enough to just run off the rail and back across. Yes, he has. This time he has the angle in the 7. So not anything to do really with the cue ball other than just let it come out into the table. And he's trying his best to scratch again. So just a dead weight roll through. And Larry will be on the hill. But he's had a bit of assistance there. Steve-O playing his worst shot of the night. And probably it might qualify for the worst shot in the tournament tonight. Finding his way to hook himself. Look at these balls going in here from Larry. And he's no shot in the 1. Well, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 8 have gone. And now it's going to be the push out. Well, if he's pushing in the low side, again, it's asking to be locked up behind the 5. He's got to go up table and leave an edge of that one showing. That'd be the safest push out. It'd probably get put back in. But you don't want to be playing a push out in the bottom side here. Let's have a look. He might have left enough of that to cut. No, I think it will cut to the rail. I don't know whether that's enough to make the pot. Well, commentator's eyes let him down there. Just enough room and no more. But Stevo's under pressure. 3-0 down, table wide open and a tough 5. He's gone for the bank. Is he going to go off the 7? Yes, it is. Nice little kiss in the 6. And just drop the 6 in. Well, he's playing a draw off this. He just wants to roll it in. No, he's fine. Thought he was going to try and draw off that there. I was panicking for him. Well, he should be on the board, barring some almighty disaster. Now, is he going to get a ball and a shot? Well, they're all running all over the place. 7's thinking about it. It's gone in. But no shot in the 1. Well, Larry's now has the table wide open. And he should be out. 2 into the left side. He's the wrong side of the 2, though. He hasn't gone through far enough. He shouldn't have a problem, though. I mean, he doesn't have to do anything. He just has to see the 3, but make sure he's over this left side where we are at the moment. It needs to keep running. And now he's got a good angle. And plenty of room to go through off this 3 ball and get this cue ball running back down the table for this 4. Oh, that needs to get a nice little brush if it does anything. And he's just got there. Now, no problem. Easy enough cutting the 4. The cue ball's going to be coming down the table. He just needs to make sure he stays bottom side of the table. And he'll be on the 5. So this match is over. As long as he doesn't hook himself behind the 9 like that and have to play the jump. Where's the cue ball ending up? Little kiss onto the 6 will do nice. And it most certainly should be over now. And Larry's again is not going through in the shot to get the little stun draw. He's under hitting these shots with that mouse. And he's left it awkward. He's going to have to bank it, I think. No, he's gone for the cut. And again, he did his best there to blow that. But he's got through. And he beat Stevo by 4 racks to 1. But let's just say it wasn't convincing. So anyway, Larry survives. And he's now waiting on the winner of the match between Miasma and One Pocket Slim. And Slim is 1-0 up. Miasma getting 6 and out. And that is a generous handicap. And meanwhile, Stefan and LS3 are at 2 racks all at the moment. And I think we've got to go in and see if Miasma's going to get a sniff at this 6 and out. Well, it's looking like 2-0 at the moment. But a match like this, it's a race to 4. If Miasma gets any sort of opportunity, it is a big invitation to get to that 6 ball. Slim breaks, couple of balls in the break. The 1 ball was one of them, but no shot in the 2. The 5's also gone. Now again, I say this time and time again as well, players who are getting something like 6 and out have to be playing with common sense. And he's going to be having a go at this 2-6 combo. And that is a good shot, and that's the quick way to win the rack. Back into the game, trailing by 1. But again, I don't think the follow-up break has done him any good. What's worse is the table is wide open, it's dry, and Slim's sitting on the 1 with nothing to do to get on the 2. And the safe bet is that Miasma's played, well, commentator's curse has done it straight away. Slim's overcut the 1, and Miasma now has the pressure on because it's a wide open table and you've only got to get to the 6 and you could be sitting all square. Now this needs to be a gentle 2 because the cue ball will come back out. And now, same again, the cue ball back into the table for the pot between the 7 and the 6 on that 4. And that's too heavy. It's too heavy. It still goes. It's just not a great line to be playing this at. Knowing that if you don't get it, the chances are you played your last shot, but maybe not. Because Miasma's got a lucky roll. He needs to avoid a double kiss here if he's trying to bring the cue ball out of there. Well, he's trying to kick it out, and that'll do. The end result is safe. He'll be happy with that. Well, the 6 ball is a problem, bearing in mind where the 5 ball's sitting in this bottom left-hand side. You've got to somehow get the cue ball back up the table. The obvious shot where the 6 ball would go is blocked by the 7. So you don't want to be leaving a combo if you can help it. But who's going to get there? Certainly Miasma doesn't want to be playing a 6-7 combo. Oh, the 7's gone in, the fluke. And that's the danger with the multiple money balls. The 7's gone in and we're all square. And this is how a match can turn straight on its head with a 6 and out handicap. And look at where the 9's gone. Well, the 9, that is a big relief for one pocket Slim. But look at the 6. The 6 has taken its place. And Miasma on the 2, on the 4, nothing to do with the cue ball, and a cut in the 5 and cannot miss the 6. Well, the only way this is going to go wrong is getting hooked somewhere. And all of a sudden, just in the blink of an eye, Miasma's on the hill. So now the pressure is on. Oh, cue ball's going. So Slim has been reprieved for the time being. He's got ball in hand and he has to deliver. And once again, they are all there. Table's wide open for him, so he's just got to get it all in his head and what he's going to do. 2 on the left side rail. He wants to make it nice and easy to come up for this 3. He doesn't want to have to work the cue ball an awful lot. And he looks as if he's just drawn in behind the 2 to play it long. Well, that angle is not great. Yeah, he's going to have to leave it awkward. And it's a bedhead cut. Now, if he gets this lucky, he could run into the 8 coming back up the table, and that will hold him onto the 5. Depends on what he tries to do with the cue ball. I don't think he'll be trying to do too much with the cue ball. Well, he's missed the 8. Is he going to bounce and see the 5 though? Yes, he is. But he's going to be hampered over the 6 as well. So this is not easy. He's probably going to have to just roll forward to get out into the open air. Now, let's look at it from Slim's point of view. Yeah, it's awkward, but he's got loads of room to get around behind the 7. Now, a little feather of inside left if you want to, just to make sure you keep the line right on that cue ball, just so it, well, he's going the other way. I'd be playing inside left. He's letting this run. This could end up behind the 9, but he's got the pace on it. I wouldn't have played it that way. Because if you run over to the right hand side of the table where there's other balls, it's always a room for a problem happening, but he got the pace right. But has to get out to take this all the way to the final rack. Well, we've been on for, what, 2 hours and 10 minutes? And the final rack decider to see who's going to play Larry in the next round on that one lost side. Slim's break. I didn't hear anything go in. Did anything go? Nope. Dry. No shot for Miasma. I mean, there is a jump on. And I'm not so certain that the kick is all too inviting. I don't know whether the line's available off that side rail. It looks a bit narrow. The middle pocket looks a bit in the way. But Miasma's dug out the jump stick. Going to have a go. And a little billiard in off the 8. And line on the 2. But the problem now has locked to 5 with the 8, so there's nothing going to be simple here for Miasma. And that's not particularly great in the 3 either, but at the end of the day, if you don't have a shot in that 5 and 8, you can always leave it awkward somewhere. Well, that's going to be the crucial 2 balls left in the table there, and Miasma's went for the little kiss. Got the breakout, but that 5 goes, but he hasn't taken enough time on it. But he's got lucky. Or has he? Does Slim fancy cutting this in at that angle? And of course this now means that it's an all or nothing shot here for Slim. Good evening to Bedhead. Late to the party as usual. Is he going for the bank or the cut? He's going for the bank. He's nailed it. Absolutely perfect. But he's nailed the cue ball behind the 7. And Miasma should be ready to pounce. Slim's going for the long jump over the edge of the 7. It's a last ditch attempt to cut this 6. Now if he doesn't get it, Miasma will have the 6 ball for the match. Big shot, and of course it was asking too much to get over that 7 ball at that distance. So the match is over. It's ball in hand, and just a roll in the 6 and don't follow it in, and Miasma goes through by 4 racks to 3, and Miasma has everything in his favour against Larry. Larry's not playing well, and Miasma's going to have a stack of money balls as well against Larry, probably very similar. Meanwhile, quick look at the match that's going on in the hot seat. Stefan, what the hell's the score? I can't see it for the chat. It's 5 racks to 4 for Stefan to see who gets the final, but the action's happening on this one lost side. We've got the match between Larry and Miasma coming up. That's the one we're going to be watching because Larry's under pressure. He's been struggling tonight. And somebody's still asleep in that Larry Stefan room. How long's that room been sitting there? Who's lying in there? Oh, there's Keith in. Get yourself in the stream. Where the hell is he? I want him to give me the story. Keith's arrived in the lobby, so something's working. I don't know whether he's just back into desktop mode or not, but he hasn't come on to tell me. Who the hell's sleeping in that room? Haven't a clue. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll go in. Oh, there's Keith there. Good evening. Right, give me the story. I want the gory details. Give me the story. The floor's all yours, Keith. Just desktop mode, it's still the same thing. Well, that, I'll tell you something. See if you've done exactly what I said for you to do and it's still not working. I haven't a clue. I would send a message to Steve and ask him if he's got any idea of maybe a way around this, because it's the strangest one I've ever heard. I haven't the foggiest. I've never had that. I've never experienced it, and I've never had anybody else tell me the same thing. But you showed me the video. It just hangs, which is really weird. Well, Miasma's letting Larry stew in this room here, but finally arrives. Well, at least if you can play in desktop mode, that's better than nothing. So get yourself signed up then, you've got no excuse. Well, this looks fairly close. Very close. But Larry wins, and well, this time Miasma's getting 7 and out. So it's not quite as generous as it was in the last match. And look at the 9 ball. Larry's broke off. 9 ball is dead in the pocket. And he's got a dodgy 1. Well, again, he's going to try and lock this cue ball on the 5. But again, he's just not going through with the roll. Ball's edges are blocky if I make it full screen. What? Tell me this, Keith. See if you look at the kitchen line on your screen. Is the kitchen line smooth and straight, or does it go into that sawtooth thing? Just go into a room and your own room and just have a look at the lines on the table and move the camera around and check and see whether it's nice and smooth, the line, or whether it's actually a sawtooth. Well, miasma, no messing about. 1-0. Oh, cue ball's gone. Scratch in the middle. And Larry under pressure has ball in hand. It's all right. The line's fine. Right. All the video drivers are up to date. Windows is up to date. Why the hell? Right. Why did you reinstall Windows, Keith? Did you have another problem with the PC? Well, Larry's found himself a way to get in trouble again. Oh, Steve won't have much of an idea, I don't think. What the hell's that? An SSD drive of some description. Well, there's definitely something weird. I mean, I bet there's nobody out there that's watching this has ever heard of that problem where you can only play VP4 in desktop mode. Because if you choose any resolutions, the game won't run. It's the weirdest one I've heard. So I don't think anybody else will have heard of it. I've never come across with anybody with that problem. And consequently, I haven't a clue as to what the solution would be. I don't know whether Steve's going to have much of an idea either. I would doubt it very much, what he could suggest to do. But you can only contact support. That might be your last hope. Meanwhile, Miasma 2-0 up. And again, Larry found a way to get himself in trouble. Again, it's self-inflicted damage. Pretty much the way this has gone tonight for Larry. But he's going to have first chance in this rack to try and get himself on the board. Oh, aye, Keith always finds a way to have problems. He monkeys about with his PC putting things in that causes problems. That's what it seems to happen. Well, Larry's played the safety. Now, how much of this one ball is shown? Well, more than enough to cut that one into the middle, and the cue ball may well run into the 8 and have some sort of shot in the 2 here. And Miasma overcutting it, and he would have had a shot in the 2. Look at the way the 2's opened up. And again, Miasma is getting lucky. He's left Larry nothing other than the jump attempted cut. And Larry's got it, but he's going to have another tough one. The tough thing is not potting the 2. The tough thing is finding a path out into the table and having a shot in the 3. Well, you know the old saying, Keith, if it ain't broke, or something like that, whatever it is. My brain's half shut down at this time of night. Well, I've still got my Logitech G5, Keith, and goodness knows how old it is, and it still works like a dream. And that was the most expensive mouse I'd ever bought at the time. It was the first expensive mouse. It was I think I paid 50 quid for it at the time, which was dear then. Well, LS3 has been taken all the way by Stefan, but she's won out in the end, and she's into the final. 7 racks to 6. Stefan, of course, moves over into the semi-final spot, waiting on the outcome of this match. Is that not the one? Yes, it is. Waiting on the winner of this match. So Larry is underway. 1 rack on the board, needing a ball and a shot. Trying to find some sort of momentum. Well, the break is good. The balls are all over the place, but nothing went in, I don't think. Well, if that cue ball had finished up the table there for Larry, Miasma had the 1-9 combo. So just as well it finished there. Have you actually sent a message to support, Keith? Because I'd be doing that right now. Because you might as well try every option available to you. Not that you'll get very many options, it has to be said. But I would send a message to him. Get a DX Diag thing. And email it to him just to let him know your spec. And tell him what the problem is. And see if he can come up with any suggestions. Obviously tell him that your Windows is all updated and drivers are all updated and all of that stuff, because he's going to ask you that. He's going to do the obvious things. It'll be Monday night. The draw's done. I think it's 7:30 on Monday night. So, for a game not to want, for a game, well, VP4 being an older game, for it not to want to run in a resolution, effectively it'll run only in safe mode, which is desktop window. There has to be some form of solution, but goodness knows what it is. Yeah, it's going to be 6:30 because the clocks are going back on Sunday morning. Oh, this cue ball needs to get right down there. 8 ball is off the rail. But again, it's gone down too far. He's going to have to punch this in. Just to get the cue ball out. So Larry, back in it. 2 racks all with the break. Again, a good break, but nothing doing. And Miasma, I think, can see the one. Nothing to do with the cue ball, just roll the one in. And he'll be on the 2. nice and gentle with this one ball. The problem is how far the cue ball runs through off the one, because the chances are he's going to end up running into the 6. Well, this could be a stun onto the 6 to hold for the 3. Or a little delicate run through for the 3 on the opposite side. Well, a little draw off and avoid the scratch will do it. That's not bad. The problem has been stuck to the rail. And again, the weight is wrong. It wasn't a good angle to get good on that 4 from there, especially when you're stuck to the rail, when you can't do anything with the cue ball. But I'd be running for cover. But he's going for the kick. Well, if I was you, Keith, I would sign up now, and then if nothing gets resolved before Monday at 6:30, you can always withdraw. I mean, that's not going to be a problem. But at least you know that you're in, and you've got 2 or 3 days to try and find a way to get this sorted. Well, the little kiss of the 6 done him a big favour. Makes it nice and easy just to roll through. But not too far. You want this to be pretty straight. Simon. Keith showed me a video, right? He's reinstalled Windows. He's got VP4 installed, and whenever he tries to set VP4 to a resolution, the game just freezes and he has to Control-Alt-Delete. If he starts it in safe mode, in desktop mode, VP4 will run without a problem. But any resolution he chooses, VP4 doesn't work. It just crashes. And all his drivers are up to date. His Windows updates are done. And I haven't a clue on what he can do next. But he did install a new drive as well. And that's about it in a nutshell. Meanwhile, Larry's 1 away from the semi-final. Yeah, let Simon have a look, Keith. If Simon has a mess about, he can only have a look at certain things and see whether there's anything he can do to tweak it. I mean, you could also go on Discord as well. Remember, you can share your desktop on Discord, although you can't do what you do in TeamViewer on Discord, that is. But you can talk to one another in Discord. Well, there's a glaring miss by Miasma on that 2 ball. Now, is the 7 ball going to be the problem? Well, that's a bit tight to be making the cut in the 7. Yeah, that's the other thing, Keith. If you were going to contact Keith, if you were going to contact Steve, what you'd have to do is send him your error log before you restart VP4 again, and that way you can look at the error log in VP4 and see if there's anything shows up. That's one bit of advice to say. That would be easy enough to do, but it's just remembering how to get the error log. Simon will tell you how to get that. Well, this is the possible lifeline that there might be for Miasma. It's whether Larry thinks he can cut that 7 without having to break it. I don't really think he can. I don't know whether he can get to the potting angle. But looking at it from this side, if you can get to there, this is still touch and go. Now, where's the cue ball going? Where's the 8 ball going? Well, it's another testy one. Well, it ain't over till it's over, as they say. He's still got to get back onto this 9, let alone pot the 8. And he's way off the 8. And the cue ball stays in the table. And this is not easy. Well, if you're going to go for it, go for it. You cross bank the 8 and you run the cue ball. Miasma going for the cut, gets the cut, but no shot in this 9. It's nailed to the rail, I think. What am I talking about? He only needed the 7, didn't he? It was 7 and out, or 7, well, the 8 ball it was. I'm losing focus reading the chat and trying to remember the handicap. 2 ball nudges in. 6 ball hanging right over the middle. Final rack decider. And Miasma has the chance to get to the semi-final. Well, that one does not go, so Larry's going to billiard the 4 in and hope he still has a shot in the 1. Well, that little double kiss off the 1 worked out nice. 3 ball over the corner, 5 ball very adjacent in the bottom rail, and Larry should be out. It should be all over. I'll just drop onto the knuckle or onto the rail. How's the angle though? Well, this could end up going pear shape as well if he collides with the 9. Again, he's too close to the rail. He's run into the 9. And now it's another one of those ones where he wants to stun the 8 in. He doesn't want to let it run because the cue ball's heading dangerous towards that corner pocket. So he's got to get the big stun in it. He might be playing the bank. Looks as if he's playing the cut. Got to watch the cue ball. Yeah, he's digging in now. And this time he's played a good one. So Larry survives another one. Final rack decider. And Miasma's had a good run this week. You know what I always say about these tournaments, if you can come out with more V dollars than what you spent to get in it, then you're on a winner. And Miasma has come out with 190 V dollars, so it's a profit, and that's what matters. And Larry now goes on to play Stefan, and Stefan's probably going to be getting maybe the 8 ball against Larry. I would think something like that. I don't think it'd be much more generous than that. And the room is up. They're probably lagging off right now. And that's Larry nearest us, because Larry's at the top in the HUD, so he's at the bottom of the screen. I remember what Rotomonkey told me, and Stefan's won the lag. In fact, Stefan's getting a 7 ball. So again, just to clarify, that doesn't mean 7 and out, it's just the 7 ball, if he can get there. Yeah, well, you've come out 40 V dollars richer than what you were when you went in, Miasma, so well done. So a dry break, 2 ball locked up with the 7. And Larry scratches straight away. Well, now Stefan can lock Larry up. Now, don't forget, the 8 and the 9 are locked up as well, so the thing to do is just to lock Larry up if he can, but unless he's trying to break the 8 and 9 and stay in the 3. And he's done neither. And the best thing about that shot is he never hit the 8 and 9. But look at the end result. Well, Larry could just see the edge of the 2, but running into the 7 there has scuppered his safety shot. And again, Stefan was trying to get a hit there, and now he's ended up hooked, trying to break up the 8 and 9. And now again, playing this kick shot, he doesn't want to break the 8 and 9. He wants to leave the problem for Larry if he's going to have a run here. Does 8 go? Let's have a look. Well, the 8 goes into the side if the 7 ball's out the way, but it doesn't go anywhere else. But if you're going to pot the 7, you've got to find a way to drop in behind that, or an angle to get a hit on it. So there's work to be done here. And again, Larry's ended up finding himself hooked. And again, Larry's got the same problem. He doesn't want to break this 8 and 9 out if he can help it. That's the safety net for either player. Now, I suppose the ambitious shot would be to be somewhere like that on the 6, or I don't even know, I think that's too narrow an angle, but if you can get like that angle on the 6 and cut the 6 and run the cue ball into the 8 and 9, you could still possibly have a shot in the 7, but he's too straight on the 6, so forget that idea. Well, there is a shot on here. Top right English, stun that in, send a cue ball into the rail and into the 8 and 9. Big stun you need though, and lots of spin to get it running, but he's trying to leave it long. Well, what the hell am I talking about? He only needs a 7 ball. See, I'm getting so carried away. Forgetting about the bloody 8 and 9. I'm forgetting about the handicap again. It's that time of night, folks. But the more important thing is it's 1-0. Simon might have gone to bed. It's what, 9:45? He might have forgotten. Are you there, Simon? Oh, there he is. Well, Stefan's got his big chance here. Mind you, he's just going to have to punch through. Not too heavy. And he's got himself hooked. Just paste it in here, Keith. Nobody, you're not. You're only going to have half a dozen people in your PC at the same time. Well, a good attempt at the jump. Now Larry has an awkward cut in the 4, but the cue ball back across the table twice here. Make sure he comes past the 9 ball to be able to see the 5. And that's how you miss them. You leave them awkward like that. So it's another chance for Stefan, and he can't be wasting this because they're all there and he only needs to get to the 7. But he hasn't played that well. That's a poor one. He's making it tough for himself. Well, he's going to cut this to the right. He needs to watch the cue ball. And it's a good cut. Now, how's the kiss here in this 6 ball? And it ain't good. Well, he can run for cover easy enough. Now, again, cigarette paper thin. I don't know whether is Simon in the VP4 lobby. He's DJ Simon. DJ as in bloody disc jockey. Well, this will be Stefan's 3rd go, albeit there's nothing easy in the 6. Well, that'll do as a safety. He couldn't have ended up with a better result than that. And Larry needs to get some cover here. And the gap is just there and no more. Well, he's bringing the jump cue. I don't know whether he needs it. Oh, he missed the 7, and that will do very nice. And it's going to be 2-0, albeit with a barrel load of opportunities for Stefan. Four ball in the break. Well, no shot in the 1. He's got a kick with a good chance of kicking the 1 in if he gets lucky. But the push out has been played. And now Larry may well put him back in. Or he could try and get over behind the 3, but he needs to cover the 1 and does that 2 go. Well, it doesn't go that side. It obviously goes from this side. And Larry's put Stefan back in. Well, if he's playing off the left side of the one and he gets this thick, he's going to run into the 9. Well, he's missed the 9. And he's no immediate danger. I mean, Larry can bank the 1, but he's going to have to work the cue ball an awful lot to get it anywhere near the 2. If he cuts it, he's got a chance, but he could run into the 7. So it's a tall order to get good, and he's hit the 7. It might have done him a favour though. Where's the cue ball going? Disaster. And Stefan is not going to have a better opportunity to get to the hill in this race to 4. Ball in hand. Well, he's going to be dead straight in this 3. He's not. He's got a slight angle, just enough angle, and he's checking it inside left to bring it back in line, and that will do. Now he can jack up or run through. He's got the choice, and so let's have a look at this 7. This 7 has plenty of room, and this match is over. Well, it's not over because he's only in 2. I'm getting ahead of myself here. He's now in 3. And, well, Stefan, you have been warned. Larry's now in the annoyed position. And he's 3-0 down. Back to the wall. Don't say you haven't been told. Stefan plays the push, and Larry's not interested. And Stefan has played not a bad safety. Now Larry's going to try and come in behind. Well, is he going to try and come in behind the 8 9? Looks like he's going left side of the 3. Might be trying to put the 3 behind the 8 9 and run the cue ball. No, yes, he is trying to get in behind the 8 9, but he had to get it tight, and the 3 balls over the pocket, and this is going to be an easy jump for Stefan. Or Stefan's get into it too much, and Larry might breathe again here. And Larry's hanging over the cliff with one hand. Oh, he's got the cut, and this is going to finish perfect. Well, thanks for watching Rotor Monkey. You can see the end of it tomorrow or later on tonight. So Stefan just needs to pop the 7 in, and he will be home and dry. And finally Larry has run out of steam. Stefan is through by 4 racks to 0. And so Stefan is through to the final. And it's going to be Stefan and LS3, and Stefan has the chance for revenge because of course LS3 won that final rack decider against Stefan earlier on there to send him to the 1-loss side. So tonight's final is a race to 9 between LS3 and Stefan. 2 players are in, probably lagging off right now. There we go. And LS3 is the one at the bottom of the screen, but Stefan has just won it. Well, I've said that, Miasma, I've never heard of that problem before. It's the weirdest one I've ever heard with EP4. And Stefan is getting the 8-ball, and look at where the 8-ball is, right over the corner pocket. And he's got no shot in the 2. I mean, he could play a jump in the 2, but his chances of knocking the 8 in are not great. Not the 8, the 7. But LS3 wants to be dealing with that 8-ball fairly soon. Because as long as it remains there, it's just waiting to be nudged in one way or another. And that's... Well, that was the right idea there. But unfortunately for Stefan, he's followed it in. And ball in hand for LS3. Now, it's going to have to be a combo, I would think, unless you can get the cue ball up behind the 3, top side, but she's content with the combo, and it looks fairly straightforward. So, off the mark in tonight's final for LS3. And we're still short of 3 hours. 2 hours and 56 minutes we've been playing. And the final's already started. LS3's break. Bone dry. Now Stefan has a great opportunity here to have LS3 in trouble, because he can bring that cue ball back over towards the 8 and send the 2 up the table. He can get good cover here. Well, he's gone all out for the cut. And I reckon when you weigh up the percentages, he's probably been better running and hiding there with that shot. Now, LS3's had a look at the 3 ball. There's room past 8. There's half a pocket there, but how do you pot the 3 and get good in the 4? That's the question. Is there enough angle to smack this in and stun onto the rail and come back towards the 4 and 5? No, there's enough angle to scratch in the middle and give Stefan ball in hand. And now, of course, Stefan only needs to get to the 8 ball, and that is not difficult to do. Perfect opportunity to get this match back on par immediately. Now, slight angle, push it into the left side of the pocket and just get the cue ball in play, and we're going to be all square. Couple of balls in the bottom right hand corner pocket there. The 6 ball was one of them, didn't catch the other one. It was the 2, and the 1 ball, let's have a look from this end. Yeah, that's not particularly easy. Is it a cut into the middle? Yeah, it didn't cut it enough. So LS3 has to respond. Golden opportunity. Well, I don't think in the match that we saw or play earlier, because we've never seen how it went. Obviously went to the final rack decider when she met Stefan the first time round, but the match that we watched earlier on, whenever she was given an opportunity like this, it was job done. The balls were put away, the rack was won. And now a nice little angle on the 4 as well, just to get out into the table. Well, there's Keith arrived in VP4. He hopefully can let us know whether Simon's found anything or done anything, or whether it's still the same. So, like I said, if the balls are there and the table's open, LS3's getting it done, back into the lead. 2 ball goes in, 5 ball goes in, and half a shot in the 1 is a thin cut, and it's going to be a collision with the 3, but can she play the push through? She certainly can. Obvious easy escape. Well, there's your top down view for the night. I hope you enjoyed that. And the kick has ended up fairly safe. LS3 going for distance. Hasn't got the cover. And there's my opposite end of the table view. I hope you enjoyed that one as well. Yeah, it's a weird one. Totally weird. Well, again, the kick from LS3 comes up with a good result. Once again, though, Stefan has a chance to get distance. It needs to keep running, and that leaves it very awkward over the 6. The old Chinese snooker. Well, Simon's having 2 or 3 attempts getting VP4 online. Well, again, the cue ball isn't tight enough to the 4, so it's an easy kick on the 3. LS3's going for the jump. I'd be going for the kick because there's a good chance of getting that 3 in the hole. And in the end, she's ended up fouling the 4. I don't know why she didn't go for the kick. You can always get lucky. It wasn't a difficult kick shot in the 3. And with it being adjacent to the pocket, you never know your luck. The question though is can Stefan take full advantage? Well, he's left himself well short in the 6. And, well, this is going to be thin enough, I think, that he can avoid hitting the 8. And this needs to keep running, but not too far. Needs to slow up. I think he's okay. Yep. The 9 ball might end up being a good guide for the pot on this 7. But just this, the 7 and the 8 needed. And if he hadn't hit that 8, he'd have been fine. And now the bank is on. And in it goes, clean as a whistle, for Stefan to square the match. Oh, ball's going in all over the place. At least 3 at the last count. Yep. The 4, the 6 and the 7 have gone. A cut in the 1. Now, a little kiss on the 2. And a kiss like that will work out perfect. And just a bit straight though. He's trying to punch it up the table, but he hasn't got into it. But he's left the old bedhead cut. And this looks as if it's tracking nice here. Absolutely perfect. Drop the 5 in, stun the cue ball, roll the 8 into the middle. Job done. Now I wonder when was the last time either of these two players not only got to the final but actually won Friday Night 9 Ball. I would suggest it's been a little while. I don't remember in recent weeks either of them. Not that Stefan plays in all of them, but I can't remember. But anyway, Stefan has the narrow lead at the moment. 3 racks to 2, LS3 though, at the table. But I don't think there's any shot on the 2, so can try running for cover. But that won't do. And look at the 9. The 5-9 is set up perfect. Stefan has a very good opportunity to get some daylight between himself and LS3. Needs to keep running. The further up the cue ball goes, the easier the combo. And now it's not quite as easy. Just got to focus on the potting line of the 5 and that will do. And so now there is daylight. Stefan with a 2 rack lead. The break. And nothing going. And the 6 ball is locked away behind the 7. Let's see that 6 ball. Well, let's be honest, it's not actually very potable where it's sitting. LS3 I think can get the 2. Oh, well, maybe not. She's got lariatus. Larry starting a trend with rattling balls in the pockets tonight. LS3 getting the bug. Oh dear. Well, Stefan's taking his eye off the cue ball there. He's not looking at where that cue stick was in the cue ball. And he's miscued. LS3 June 25 3021. What the hell does that mean? Oh, right. I think the cue ball's going to be okay. Now, big shot here for LS3. I think she's too close to the rail. Oh, right. Got you now, Larry. June. July, August, September, October. Yeah, that's a few months. Well, that's a good effort. But LS3 has a cut on the 4. It's going to be awkward as well. Yeah, Miasma just wants to hack into your PC. Oh, that's overcut. Now, well, we know the 4 just squeezes past. And the Lariatis is struck again. Steve must have done something to these pockets tonight. Yes, it's the final, yeah. Well, LS3 get no luck there. Hooked on the 5. And Stefan, with a 4-2 lead, should be ready to pounce here. If he can get a sniff on this 5 ball, which he has done, and he can open the gap further. Excellent opportunity. Got to be taken. And that ain't going to get the job done. That needed to be punched in and dragged off to keep the cue ball well away from travelling towards that 8. But he's got the bank. Yeah, you have to see the problem ahead and take evasive action with that shot, but he's got lucky and get out of it. And that needs to keep running, and it has done. And Stefan, one way or another, is going to have a 3-rack lead. And that puts the pressure on LS3. Stefan looking for revenge for that hot seat match defeat, albeit in a final rack decider. Yeah, I thought you were under the weather, Larry, with the amount of balls you were rattling the pockets. I thought you weren't feeling well. That's why I said you hadn't made as many mistakes since the last time you'd made as many mistakes. So now LS3 has got work to do. And Stefan doing the right thing, keeping the pressure on. And Stefan gets the reward of a ball in hand opportunity and a 2-7 combo. What am I talking about? It's the 8 balls, he's money ball. I'm getting excited again. Forget what I said there. My brain is in shutdown mode. You all know that by now. It's an hour and 20 minutes past my bedtime. But the most important thing is Stefan's at the table. I think he can still see enough of the 4. Now, he's done the right thing there. Got into it enough. Got it in prime position. And it should be just a roll in the 6. A roll through in the 7. And a roll into the middle for the 8. It couldn't be any easier than this. Just a nice gentle roll. Or you go forward with inside left just to check the cue ball like that. Just to control it and keep it in line. Well, it's looking good for Stefan. From 2 racks all, I think it's now gone to 6-2. Another ball in the break. What went there? 5 ball has gone. And no shot in the 1. And still no shot in the 1 for LS3 either. But look at this table. This is what puts the pressure on when you're getting a handicap. Your opponent's trailing by 4 racks. They come to the table. They've got a shot to try and get a safety in the 1. And everything's wide open. Well, that'll do. Now, is Stefan going to be tempted to try and make the bank in the 1? Because if he gets it, he'll be unlucky not to have a shot in the 2. But again, common sense has prevailed. He's tried for the safety. But this is LS3's first big chance to remedy the situation and at least get 1 back. But the pressure is on when you know you have to deliver. You know, you have to get the job done when the table's like this. And you're trailing by 4. There's no excuse for it. Yeah, sometimes just capoing the ball helps from time to time. Sometimes you end up scratching your head wondering what the hell to do just to have a pop at it. But common sense does work out more often than not. Know your limitations. Draw your neck in when you maybe want to let it get you carried away. Well, a little test here in this 3 ball. And that's not going to get there. Well, once again, well, the first awkward shot is this first shot in the 3. But he can get into it, and if he can come back behind the 7 and avoid hooking himself, he's just getting into it a wee bit too much. Just a bit too much juice. But it's a testy cut on the 4. He has to go full-blooded for this. You can't go half measures because you have to get the cue ball in the table to make the cut in the 6. He doesn't want to finish in the left-hand side where he is at the moment. That's no good to him. Well, he's missed the 4. And now, another testy long 4 ball with the pressure on LS3. Nice little angle off the 8 ball just to come back down for the 9. I was watching a video on YouTube because I've been watching this new series that Professor Brian Cox has made called Universe, because he's a professor of astronomy. Even you guys in the States must have seen him. The channels in the States must have bought the BBC stuff before. And I saw a video on YouTube, and I can't remember the name of this drive. There's a couple of drives that these guys, these scientists are working on about making different types of technology that's going to help propulsion for a space vehicle traveling in space, i.e. a propulsion system that would allow the spacecraft to progressively build up speed to eventually reach the speed of light. And he named these two different guys. I think they're both at NASA, but there wasn't an awful lot more detail on it. I think it's more a thesis more than anything else. I can't remember the name of the drive. No, the Iron Drive was one of them, Larry, but the other one was this one I'd never heard of before. And it was a bit like, the way he described it, it was like these particles, or these, whether it's atoms or whatever, they sort of bounce off one side of this panel and then bounce off the other, but each time they bounce, it propels the rocket faster. And obviously in space there is no friction, so as the momentum keeps going, it propels it even further. And they were talking about how, the size of this device would have to be quite large for it to work. They didn't really go into an awful lot more detail. I don't think the experts think it's got a great deal of opportunity, but even when you think about it, let's say that this is the thing that fascinates me about space travel and astronomy. I love watching these programs, but I love listening to these guys with all these theorists. Even if they had, if the guys had invented this drive tomorrow, and they said by about 2025 we'll have a spaceship of some description where we'll have this fitted to, we'll do tests on it and all that stuff. By 10 years, they'd probably still be in testing phases. And, you're talking another 10, 20 years before anything like that would happen. And even when let's say it was all successful, and they say, oh yes, we've tested it, and we've done a test in space, and we had the thing up to light speed, and now it's this far away in the solar system. If you think about it, at light speed, it still takes it 4 years to get to Proxima Centauri. I mean, you just can't get anywhere in space, even with a light speed drive. You just ain't going to get anywhere. And the obvious problem there is sticking human beings in a spacecraft. It'll be decades and decades and decades before you'd ever have anything like that happen. Absolute decades. And I've always said this about space travel, and they talk about aliens being out there and all of that stuff. If you think about it, right? Ever since the human race has discovered radio technology, right? The Earth has been beaming radio signals out since the turn of the century, let's say. Maybe the end of the 19th century into the early 20th century. I don't know when radio waves were discovered, but when radio broadcasts and things were emitting radio signals, they've been travelling through space, right? The problem with space is it is so large that even if there is life out there, and I think it would be difficult to not believe that there are planets and solar systems somewhere in our own galaxy, let alone any other galaxy, where there are possible life forms of some description. They might only be amoebas, you know, things crawling about in a puddle. But the problem is that even if there was proper humanoid life forms who had intelligence, they don't know that we exist. And even if they did have systems that could hear signals, our signals haven't travelled far enough to reach any of them in space. So that's why nobody knows we're here. So I think that's a good thing, though. Because I think if there was anything out there that saw this bloody place that we live in, see how we're messing it up, they wouldn't want to come near here. So I think there's a certain comfort in knowing that knowledge, that nobody knows that we exist here, and we don't know that they're there either, because it takes, you know, thousands of years for any signal to travel anywhere in this universe, and that gives me a reassurance. So it does. Anybody comes to this planet and see how we can mess it up, they want to stay well clear. Anyway, that's my lecture on astronomy for tonight, folks. Right, Mark, I didn't think you're still here. See you later. Take care. Thanks for watching. No, I mean that's so hard to believe. I mean you're basing it on the sort of the theory that they've got much more advanced technology, and that they can fly in a spacecraft that can travel at Star Trek speed. You know, they've got dilithium crystals, and they can fly beyond the speed of light. Well, put it this way, Larry, we've got more chance of that happening than we have of anybody turning up on our doorstep. That's probably more true than anything else. Well, Stefan, the lead is 3, and it should be back to 4. I'm fascinated by space, not to the extent that I would go and buy a telescope and sit out looking at the stars, but that always intrigues me when they talk about space and all of this stuff. You know, the Andromeda galaxy is the nearest galaxy to us, and I mean, it's just amazing when you think about it. It's 2,500 light years away from us. So when we're looking at the Andromeda galaxy through a telescope, we're seeing it 2,500 years old. That's amazing in itself. And then when they tell you that at some point in the future, the Andromeda galaxy is going to collide with the Milky Way galaxy, that blows your mind as well. But you've only got these guys telling you that's the case. Nobody's going to be around to prove it. That's the brilliant thing about being a theoretical physicist. You can come up with all sorts of crazy stuff. Nobody's ever going to prove you right or wrong. That's why I love listening to some of these guys talking about multiple universes and all of that stuff. It's just amazing. I mean, any Tom, Dick or Harry could go on the television and say, oh yes, well, that's well within a possibility of this happening and that happening. Well, just because you know a few numbers, it doesn't allow you the grace to say come up with all these weird suggestions. Again, I still love listening to them because of it. You know, wormholes and all of this. That's the you know, it need to be like No Man's Sky. In No Man's Sky, the PC game that we've got, the one objective there is to find shortcuts through the galaxy, and you can do that by being given the coordinates to a black hole. Now in No Man's Sky, the quickest way of getting through a galaxy is to find black holes, and that bumps you on by maybe a couple of hundred light years. The problem is that you're maybe 64,000 light years away from the centre of the galaxy in No Man's Sky. Now everybody knows, according to the physicists, that if you were to be in a spacecraft and go near a black hole, you'd be sucked away to oblivion. You wouldn't go through to another galaxy. You'd be squashed up smaller than a pea. Right, what's the story, Miasma? Give us the brief and the lowdown on your solution, because it doesn't sound as if it was that good an outcome. Right. And what are you going to do with the log? Are you going to send that to Steve, let him have a look at it? That'd be the next solution or suggestion. Anyway, there's still a 3-rack gap. Stefan, though, is on the hill. 8 racks to 5. Trying the bank. And did you do a restart in VP4 and then choose the resolution, and then it crashed, and then got the error log from VP4 as well? Did you get that? Because he'll want both of those logs, I would think. Now you're talking about Windows log, but I'm talking about the VP4 error log. LS3 hanging on by the skin of her teeth, trying to get at least one back. Well, she cannot finish straight on this 7. Got to kill the cue ball where the 5 is, roughly, to give enough angle. Well, that's dead straight. I think it might be okay. It might be just a slight angle. That I think is okay. Yeah, that'll do. Now, nice kiss in the 9. So LS3 survives for one more rack. We are 3 hours and 32 minutes into tonight's tournament. This will be one of the shorter ones. Mind you, it could still end up being one of the longer ones. It could go all the way. LS3, did anything go there? Oh yeah, the 7's gone. A dodgy cut in the 1, but if she can get this, well, this is a dodgy cut. Really thin cut in the 1 here, and the cue ball could easily scratch. She's avoided the scratch. She avoided the hook. No, she hasn't, but it's not difficult to escape. Now, is this cue ball going to stay there or thereabouts, though, for the 3? Yep. I still think that Steve would want the error log for when VP4 crashes. I think he'd want to see that to make comparisons. I can't remember, Keith. Miasma will probably know. Documents, is it app data or something like that? I can't remember. LS3 ain't done yet. She's going to be back to within 1 if she can get the 8-9. Now, of course, you won't see app data unless it's locked up under the hidden files. You need to go into documents and change the view and check the little box that says view hidden files and folders, because app data is not generally available. Meanwhile, LS3 back within 1. The 2 ball has gone on the break, a shot in the 1, no problem getting on the 3, but again needs that angle to get across to the 4, and that's not bad. Is she going forward or is she stunning across? I think the stun across would do the trick. No, she's going forward. Well, had to go forward and low enough. I don't know whether I thought the stun was on, but maybe not. That looks not bad either. Well, it's looking good at the moment for LS3 to take this all the way. And the only problem is potting at 7 and staying below the 8 ball, I would think. Well, it's going to be not quite as easy. Ended up the wrong shape on this 6 ball. This is a testy one. And that's just going to get there. But the cue ball's got away. Well, I think I'm trying to convince myself that you can get to that 8 from this end. LS3 thinks she can. Now from that side it looks fine. Obviously going to brush the 9. But is he going to brush it thick enough to push it to the pocket? Oh, just a bit too heavy. I think she's okay. It's off the rail. Shouldn't be too difficult. Nice and thin with enough pace. And we're going all the way. So Stefan's going to have to battle. Remember, LS3 sent him to the 1 loss side. Stefan's still out for revenge. But LS3's hung in there. Been tracing all the way through this match. And where's the cue ball going? Well, what a disaster there for LS3. A ball in the break, the 2 balls gone. The scratch has given Stefan his chance. And every ball is on. So it's joining the dots. The most obvious thing that you will do in pool or billiards, especially 9 ball, when the balls are all on, it's about how well you move the cue ball. Well, this is going to be a follow through, but it's got to be a follow through that avoids the 5. And that spin has sent the 4 ball offline and hung up. And LS3 is hooked. Now, trying a Massey, this is a bit ambitious. Yeah. Again, I think there was other alternatives available there. There could have been the up and down kick. But it's a second go for Stefan with ball in hand. Now again, he's running out of chances here. I don't know. I wasn't looking whether she'd chosen the jump shot, the jump cue. Stefan with his second attempt to get to this 8 ball. And now has to find the gap, and I think he's a bit straight as well, and I don't know, that's got the legs, and he's hooked. And again, Stefan's had 2 goes with wide open table, and he's found a way to get himself in trouble. And somehow, now that he's missed the 6 ball, it's sayonara. Quick look, the winner gets 790, the runner-up gets 375, and the places go back to 4th. And so LS3 isn't going to get any better opportunity than this. So with that, guys, thanks for watching. I hope there's one way of getting this resolved, Keith, before Monday. Well, it might not be over yet. This is a tester. It's going to have to be up and down, I would think. Oh yeah, the angles. Well, if you go top corner, you can stun across for the 8. If you cut it in the middle, you're running up and down. And it's just about getting the pace. Yeah, it's a stun. Well, the stun and the draw, but that will do. And just drop down behind the 9. Well, with LS3's form in that first match we saw her in tonight, she deserves to win it. Out of everybody in the tournament, she's been the best player tonight. And she wins Friday night 9 ball on another final rack decider. Their first match tonight was a final rack, and LS3's won out twice against Stefan tonight, and she takes home the prizes. So I am heading to bed, guys. I'm up early tomorrow. Thanks all for watching. Stay safe, take care, and I hope to see you again next week. I am off to bed, and I will bid you good night. Thanks for watching, guys.